evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today the Prime Minister lost his mother Heraben. She breathed her last at 3:30 a.m. in Gandhinagar. Reaching Ahmedabad in the morning, the Prime Minister quietly carried out the required rituals with a small group of family members. There was no fuss, no grand yatra or a congregation of leaders and netas of the BJP. Within hours, he was back at work, virtually inaugurating a number of projects in West Bengal, as was scheduled earlier. But despite that, it seems that it is impossible now in our country to escape some pretty low-level politics, even in the passing of someone. From questioning the culture of returning to work while still in mourning, to calling the West Bengal event a political stunt, even death, it seems, has to be stripped of dignity. Since the time that he was sworn in as Prime Minister, the PM has said repeatedly that he has made the entire country his family and has dedicated his life to them. Today, that was most evident. After Heraben passed away in the morning, it was the Prime Minister himself who made the announcement on social media at 6. By 9:30 a.m., he had not just landed in Ahmedabad, but had also carried out his mother's mortal remains to the cremation ground. And by 11, he was back at work, virtually attending the Ganga conference and flagging off the Vande Bharat Express in West Bengal. But even as he decided to follow in his mother's ideals by putting service before self, politics dogged the move. In West Bengal, the Chief Minister refused to share the stage where Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav was seated after the flagging off of the Vande Bharat train. Why? Because some people present close to the dais raised slogans of Jai Shri Ram. In Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party neta IP Singh drew up a distasteful comparison between Akhilesh Yadav and the Prime Minister. He said Akhilesh, after the passing of his father Mulayam Singh Yadav, had carried out all the Hindu rituals while the Prime Minister seemed to be in a hurry to get back to work. Then where is the Hindu sanskar? And finally, the AIUDF, which went so far as to label the entire gesture as nothing more than an effort, a desire to gain attention.
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की मां जो 99 ईयर से अधिक की हो गई थी, उनका निधन आज हो गया है। लेकिन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने कहा कि नहीं, कोई भी अपना कार्यक्रम कैंसिल नहीं करेगा और कार्यक्रम करके ही सबको जो है दिल्ली वापस लौटना है। मां हीराबेन, जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की मां हैं, उनके चरणों में श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हुए अपनी बात यहीं समाप्त करता हूं।
माता प्रथम गुरु होती हैं और जो उनका संस्कार होता है वो जीवन में कभी कोई बच्चा भूल नहीं सकता है। वही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी किए हैं। अंतिम विदा देने के बाद अपना कर्तव्य पालन किया, तो उन्होंने जो किया है मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं और उस माता जी को प्रणाम करता हूं जिन्होंने माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसे पुत्र को जन्म दिया। भगवान उन्हें अपने चरणों में स्थान दें।
इसमें आज का दिन कम से कम मोदी को लेकर मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूं। तो आज माँ चला गया, जन्मदिन वाला माँ चला गया, तो उसी का टाइम में मैं चाहता हूं कि उसको फैमिली के साथ में थोड़ा टाइम दे, भाई बहन भांजा जितना है उसको थोड़ा टाइम दे। इसको लेके फिर पॉलिटिसाइज और दिखावा नहीं होना चाहिए।
But as the Prime Minister today sent out a message of putting service before self, an ethic that was given to him by his mother herself, and in a time of loss and grief, does it behove anyone to engage in the kind of politics that unfortunately we've seen coming from some quarters?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the debate, Dr. Suman Raman, Vivek Srivastav and Anirban Banerjee, all political analysts, Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP. But my first question is to author Uday Mahurkar, because you yourself know Modi ji very closely, Uday ji. A lot of people are saying this is not good to have quickly carried out Heraben's final rituals and gone back to work. Why did the PM do that?
No, he has been like that only, you know. I mean, there's nothing unusual about it. I mean, I expected this, having known him so closely, you know. You see, I don't think the rituals were carried out in hurry. She died at 3:30 in the morning, and I think that's how it should have happened, you know. And he reporting on duty immediately after that. I mean, there is no reason for anybody to find fault with that.
Especially when
he was there for the funeral.
When he's made it very clear.
Gave his shoulder to the buyer also.
Yeah, and he's made it very clear in the past
I think
for him...
he has set an example. He has set an...
Yes, go on.
You see, he has set an example of how to blend your duty with your family obligations. And it should be appreciated. I'll share my case with you, Padmaja. My parents died in the last 2 years, and I did my hearings in my RTI court soon after the funeral on both the occasions. So what's wrong in it? Nobody found fault with it. There were people who were appreciating it.
In fact, today morning when the Prime Minister announced his mother's death,
it's political.
That time also he said that माँ में मैंने हमेशा उस त्रिमूर्ति की अनुभूति की है जिसमें एक तपस्वी की यात्रा, निष्काम कर्मयोगी का प्रतीक और मूल्यों के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध जीवन समाहित रहा है. When you are a निष्काम कर्मयोगी on a day like this, when he has just laid his mother to rest, Riju Datta, then to come for an event where you have an ugly face-off and the Chief Minister decides to not share a dais. Why? Why on a day like this?
Thank you, Padmaja. I just want to start off by saying that on this solemn occasion, the entire Trinamool Congress fraternity expresses our deepest condolences to Shri Narendra Modi ji and his entire family. And in this hour of grief, we stand by him and we hail the gesture of Pradhan Mantri and his dedication towards public service. But saying that, coming to the debate, you know, this was a government function. And, you know, Prabhu Ram has been brought into the political arena by BJP. And the name of Prabhu Ram, the slogan of Jai Shri Ram, from being a warm greeting in this country, has turned into a lynching war cry by the BJP. It has become a complete political slogan which is now being used to humiliate the Chief Minister of West Bengal and the only female Chief Minister. Well and good. If BJP sees Prabhu Ram in Mamata Banerjee and they always chant this slogan, good for them. But doing that in a government program on a solemn occasion like this is the lowest of the low, and that is why the Honorable Railway Minister and the BJP and the ministers present there has categorically apologized to Mamata Banerjee, and they asked their supporters not to do this heckling. So it is quite evident that even the BJP top brass did not support this kind of...
Shehzad Poonawala, here was the Prime Minister who came on this solemn occasion, and then to have created such a situation with chants of Jai Shri Ram only were a blot on his gesture.
Let me first of all acknowledge the condolences expressed by the TMC spokesperson, and in fact join the country in expressing my condolences to the Prime Minister and his family, if this echo could be corrected. Before I answer the question that you posed to me, today is an experience of where we see the Prime Minister behaving like a true karmayogi, as has been imbibed by his mother, where he put Rashtra above Parivar, where he put Kartavya above personal tragedy, where he transformed and put pain into purpose, and when he allowed his personal grief to take a back seat and he performed his Rashtra Dharma over his Putra Dharma, even though he had performed his Putra Dharma of giving Ma Hira a final farewell, and then he resumed to duty for Ma Bharti. I can't in my wildest imagination understand, please correct this audio echo, it's very disturbing. I can't imagine why anybody would have a problem with this, except for the fact that there is such a level of visceral hatred for anybody who comes from the circumstances of Prime Minister Modi, a self-made person raised by a single mother from a humble background, that these dynastic elitist parties choose even an occasion like this to target him. Now coming to the Trinamool Congress spokesperson. The slogan of Jai Shri Ram is not a BJP slogan. It is not an anti-national slogan. It is not an unconstitutional slogan. We say Bismillah in some cultures. Some cultures say Allahu Akbar before doing some actions. Some cultures say Jai Mata Di, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Bajrang Bali, Jai Mata Di. what is the problem if a chief minister who uses a public platform to chant Chandi Path, if this is echoed in front of her, why is she taking it personally? How does this become a symbol of teasing her or offending her, except that she has a very low level of tolerance where somebody sings Rang De Tu Mohe Gerua, the show gets cancelled. When somebody chants Jai Shri Ram on the road, near her convoy, they get arrested. When somebody makes a cartoon, they are arrested. When a person from a party belonging to us has a film release, his film is not screened in the state auditorium, or the RSS chief is not allowed to carry out his program in a state government auditorium. So I think it is rather the vote bank politics and the low level of tolerance that Mamata Banerjee is displaying.
Intolerance marring even the tribute that you pay, Riju Datta.
Because if she wants to...
Intolerance marring even the tribute.
I just want to say,
Echo correct.
I just want to say that, the word Ram, Prabhu Ram, the word Ram is just not a word, it's an entire scripture in itself. And I can understand it is beyond the understanding of BJP, who use the name of Lord Ram for their political gains. This is the cheapest and the lowest of politics. Arey, aap political slogan do, koi dikkat nahi hai. You use political slogan, you fight with us politically and, constitutionally, there is no harm in it. But when you do that in a government function, instead of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, or before even Mamata Banerjee coming on the stage, there was no sloganing. As soon as she came, you do that just to heckle a woman is the lowest of low. And on that too, on the occasion where, we are all grieving for the Prime Minister's mother. Shameful, shameful display of their uncouth unculturedness by the BJP. Shameful.
All right, so who marred the occasion, Udayji? Who marred the occasion? The Prime Minister decided to send out a message. Who marred the message?
No, you see, it's a political thing. I would not like to make it political. But then he has set a great example for the nation. Nation has set a target of 2047. That it will become a great nation by 2047. How will we become great nation? By these actions. By our commitment to our sense of duty. That will make us a great nation, And that's, you see, Prime Minister is an icon. He is followed by crores of people. Not in the country, outside in various countries also, So his actions are much valued. They are a point of inspiration for people, and I think today he has set a great example of putting personal tragedy behind call of duty.
He set a great example, Vivek Srivastava, and yet you have people like IP Singh saying कि आपके संस्कार कैसे हैं? This is visceral hatred for the Prime Minister to bring in such low-level politics.
He has, Padmaja, he has carried out all the funeral rites. He was there.
He's carried out all
how can you question him?
Absolutely.
Had he not come here and...
All of the funeral rites have been carried out. It's a comment on the level of politics, and imagine, here is somebody who could have had a 2-day-long procession, who could have had all the ministers, MLAs, leaders, even leaders of opposition who were rushing in to Gandhinagar. But he said, no, this is not needed. Like Rajnath ji said earlier, he sent out a message that please carry on with all of your appointments. Amit Shah went to Karnataka. Rajnath ji continued with his appointment. Arjun Ram Meghwal continued with his appointment, because ultimately it's the Prime Minister who said, this is not needed. We do not need some grand procession, Vivek Srivastava. What we need is to actually carry out the message of Heraben, which is do your job.
I do not know when Heraben gave the message, or she gave the message or did not give the message. I do not know. So everybody is saying it, or maybe she gave the message. And my condolences to the Prime Minister, not because he is the Prime Minister. किसी की माँ का आज देहांत हुआ है, हमारी सहानुभूति उनके साथ है, हमारे condolences उनके साथ हैं. That is the first part. Whether he is the Prime Minister or not the Prime Minister. Secondly, I mean, it is why are we not giving the Prime Minister the freedom? If he feels that only cremation is all right, then it is okay. If he doesn't want to do a chautha, it is okay. If he doesn't want to do a tervi, it is okay. If he doesn't actually want to follow some rituals, it is his choice. I mean, why does the ruling party or the opposition anyway need to debate upon it? He doesn't believe in some rituals. So let us acknowledge it that he doesn't believe. Okay, I mean, but then however, I mean, you are trying to camouflage it that वो राष्ट्र के काम में लग गए और उनके पास तो साहब 4 घंटे नहीं थे. I mean, all this nautanki and photo ops and getting your photograph clicked and your videos made, and then, you know, your BJP IT cell goes into the brand promotion and marketing. Look at the great Karmayogi, the Prime Minister. I don't agree with it. He has been on animal safaris in the past. He has spent so much of time on so many of his hobbies. We are aware of it, okay? So, I mean, it's not as if the Prime Minister has to do some mathematics. Chalo ji, 15 minutes और, बस छूट जाएगी, पकड़ो, भागो. I mean, that is not the way the things work.
It's a personal loss. Why are you making it a public spectacle?
If the Prime Minister feels...
Vivek Srivastava is asking, Shehzad Poonawala.
No, I am not making it a public spectacle.
No, you are exactly. Calling it a public spectacle, yeah. That's what you said, that the IT cell is publicizing it, they are taking pictures, etc. Well, if somebody has been bereaved and he is getting back to work, sir, let's face it, nothing is more terrible than losing a parent, and if somebody is getting back to work after that, it takes a whole lot of courage and a lot of heart to do that. But why are you making it a spectacle, Shehzad Poonawala?
If I may, Padmaja. Padmaja, I'm just glad that Vivek Srivastava and IP Singh were not around when Sardar Patel and Uday Maharkar is here. Sardar Patel had lost his beloved wife while he was arguing a case, and a telegram came. He read the telegram. It obviously conveyed the sad message. He kept it in his pocket and he continued to argue the case. It's not because he loved the case more than his wife. It's because he believed in the commitment to the idea of being a karmayogi. And these ideas are ingrained in those who are with Bharatiya Sanskriti and culture. I can understand that it might be novel for Mr. Vivek Srivastava and for the Samajwadi Party, but this is ingrained in us, that we continue to do our work. Now, Mr. Srivastava, don't interrupt. The least you can do is to hear me out patiently. Now, Mr. Srivastava, what exactly is your problem?
Not said anything.
The fact that he did not spend his time in... One second, sir.
Do you know this?
So let me at least articulate...
Do you know that Jawaharlal Nehru
was Jawaharlal Nehru was great, Kamala Nehru was great, Sardar Patel was great, and Prime Minister Modi ji has done something that you should appreciate.
Okay, let's have a serious...
Vivek, I do not want to choose to speak over you on this.
Mr. Modi, let's please have a peaceful debate. Yes, go on.
Can I have my say?
ठीक है, बोलिए.
You know, exactly, I did not interrupt you, Vivek. At least you can show basic manners. Thank you. You know, it's not your permission I need. I need your silence.
Sir, आप नेहरू जी
को Padmaja, what I was trying to convey is only this.
Go on.
अरे म्यूजियम बना दिया, आप चले जाओ कभी. सारे प्रधानमंत्री के लिए म्यूजियम बना है. Padmaja, now the fact that I was trying to put out is only this, that how one deals with their own grief should be left A, entirely to them, B, here is a Prime Minister who puts the needs of Mother India before the passing away or the loss of his own mother, which is perhaps the most tragic event in his own life. Instead of appreciating this, you have the Samajwadi Party of all the parties teaching everybody about being a good Hindu, the same party that rejoiced about firing upon Ram Sevaks. The same party which said that Ram Mandir should not be built is preaching about Hindus.
Okay.
And you have Vivek Srivastava seconding that. And you have a bunch of people coming and saying, ego first, not nation first. And ego first to the extent that I won't sit on a dais, even though it is a program
with the
that
camera.
is for the welfare of my people.
Yeah, it is about your trying to become a hero on every occasion. That is the problem. The problem is the gimmicks. The problem is the gimmicks that you...
Vivek Srivastava, hear yourself when you go back on this debate. Please do go and hear what you're saying.
Sir, I have to say that again... It is same bunch of people who get apoplectic when you have Mr. Gandhi with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, which is great. They share a very close bond if they are hugging or he's tying her shoelaces. That's supposed to be the most emotional moment of the entire century. But when somebody else decides to lay his mother to rest and has an emotional moment and decides to get back to duty, that's a gimmick. Why is that, Dr. Sumansi Raman? Before I come back to you, Riju Datta, let Dr. Sumansi Raman and Anirban Banerjee also respond. Yes, Dr. Sumansi Raman.
Padmaja, first of all, our sincere condolences to the Honorable Prime Minister for the loss of his mother. Now, the point is very clear. The Prime Minister chose to continue with his programs for the day, albeit through teleconference. Now, it was a personal choice that it has been made. Had he chosen to take the day off, to mourn. I don't think anyone in this country in his right senses would have grudged the Prime Minister a day or two to mourn the loss of his mother. So it is a personal decision which has been taken. So I don't see this as a point which really should be debated in the public domain, simply because it is his decision. Either way, whatever decision he had taken, I don't think really that the people of this country would have really had an issue with it. Now that's the first point. Second point, the issue of most of the events, especially the Bengal events in which he took part today, are not necessarily events that could not have waited for a day or so for a fresh date for the Prime Minister to inaugurate, either in person or virtually. So it's not like this is a big international conference, presidents and prime ministers have come from 10 different countries, and you can't just postpone an event. This is not like that. This is an inauguration of a few railway projects, some of which have waited for months.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that this was done deliberately to try and make a point? Is that what you're saying?
No, my point is, I don't think that he should either be praised excessively as if some great sacrifice has been made, or at the same time, had he chosen to take a couple of days off, equally he should not have been condemned for that. This is
it's not a great sacrifice, Shehzad Poonawalla. It's a choice.
By the party as some great sacrifice.
It's not a great sacrifice.
It's a matter of choice. You mean to say, Padmaja, would you have run a debate questioning had he taken the day off? Would you have questioned him for that? It's natural. Nobody would have said a word had he taken a couple of days off to mourn his mother.
Okay, it's not a great sacrifice.
This is the third time you're taking my name, but he wouldn't stop. May I speak? Thank you. Padmaja, the principle of being a karmayogi doesn't depend upon the importance of the event that you have to discharge. I mean, that is just contradictory. If you are a karmayogi, you continue to do your karma irrespective of the fact whether it is in Sumansi Raman's opinion, a very insignificant event or it's a very grave event. You continue doing what you are tasked to do as the Pradhan Sevak of this country. And therefore it is agnostic to the fact that what event is happening. It is the fact that he had to come to a particular place to inaugurate certain social welfare and public welfare projects, and he continued to do that. And nobody is going and praising him excessively. But yes, when somebody chooses this occasion to abuse him, to insult him only because they have this great sense of visceral hatred, and somebody puts their ego first. Imagine the small-mindedness of a chief minister who is inaugurating projects worth 7,800 crores. The only thing offending her is that somebody shouted Jai Shri Ram, which is not an unconstitutional. It's not that they said Desh ke tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah. I can imagine if she felt offended about that. Somebody saying Jai Shri Ram, many of us say Jai Ganesh before any project is inaugurated or anything good happens in our life. Before an exam we say Jai Bajrang Bali. So if that is said, her ego is first, and yet you have a problem with somebody who says nation first. Sumansi Raman, I fail to understand you. I thought at least tonight you would have said that here is a leader who puts nation first and another leader who puts ego first. I would this time stand with those who are putting nation first. But Sumansi Raman, end of the year, nothing has changed.
Look, Mamta Banerjee, look, Jai Shri Ram is a slogan which is today very clearly identified and associated with the BJP. I do not see any other party leaders, at least at political rallies, chanting the slogan.
Well,
Shehzad can correct me if I have missed out.
I think this is a debate for another day, sir, because if you are saying it's only the BJP which is associated with Jai Shri Ram, you are automatically saying that all Hindus are associated with the BJP, because across the board every Hindu will say Jai Shri Ram, Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Anyhow, let's not get into that. That's a debate for another day. But Udayji, since a lot of people said, some people here are saying, I don't know what is this message that we are talking about of Heraben, which the Prime Minister carried out today. Tell us from your own experience, how is the Prime Minister's action today a reflection of his mother's teachings?
You see, I had the occasion to meet his mother on quite a few occasions over the last 20 years. Is this question for me, Padmaja?
Yes, Udayji, it is. Go on.
So, you see, I have had the occasion of meeting her quite a few times over the last, I think, 20-25 years, And the the impression I got was she had, as a mother, as a senior lady of the house, she had very high sanskars. You know, you see, when the Prime Minister chose to become a pracharak as a teenager, that time also I am told that she blessed him. There is an example of Shri Ashok Singhal, the hero of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, who told me before he passed away that his mother was distraught when he told her that he wants to become a pracharak. Becoming a pracharak means you can't marry, and you have to minimize your relations with your family. So I think you have to see it in that context. And secondly, whenever I met her, she was very, very full of spiritual thoughts, you know, and she was very inspiring. She used to quote examples from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, you know, and you see, I think she is a great example. The simplicity with which the entire Modi family lives is an example which has no parallel across the world. You see, I did a story called The Other Modis in 2016. That time I had the occasion to meet not only his own close relatives, but even extended relatives, his cousins also, you know. And the simplicity I found was unparalleled. For example, I went to Amrut Bhai, his elder brother. I just landed, you know. I mean, it's not that they knew that I am coming. I just called up and I landed maybe within 2 hours, you know, 3 hours. Now, there was a car lying there, a Maruti Alto, which was covered, which had a cover on it, you know. So when I during the course of our conversation, I asked Amrut Bhai and his son, don't you use this car? Why there is a cover on this? He said, sir, we bought this car about a year ago, but we have used it only 3 or 4 times in the last 1 year. So that is the level of, so you see, very contented family. And today, you know, what culture we have seen in the last 40 years. You see, if there is one person becoming a leader or getting a big position, his relatives are always ready to take maximum advantage. His friends are there. Even his distant friends also come to take advantage, you know. And here, there is a family of no less than the Prime Minister of India.
One hand in politics, and just a simple family on the other. Anirban Banerjee.
First of all, my heartfelt condolences to our Honorable Prime Minister in a moment of his deepest loss. And that is the reason I was actually very, very shocked when I found that the BJP, Prime Minister's own party, actually chose to politicize this tragic event for their own base political interest. In today's event in Howrah, I don't know in what mind is Shehzad trying to defend that particular act of a lumpenism by the BJP workers. Even the BJP ministers and the MP sitting there were trying to stop them from doing so. So they were actually publicly acknowledging that this is not an act suited to a government event where there are many leaders, many political leaders, bureaucrats, etc. who are present there. The BJP, after that particular event happened, with the Chief Minister of West Bengal was heckled by the BJP workers, the BJP leaders of various categories, they actually started to defend it by saying that it was the ego of the Chief Minister which stopped her from getting on the dais. No, it was an act of silent protest against this kind of lumpen behavior by political party workers whose topmost leader had set an example early in the morning which we all could follow. So it's the shamelessness of the BJP that they are trying to use it as a marketing gimmick and also trying to connect it with this event in Howrah, which should have been avoided at all costs.
It should have been avoided, politicization, and the Chief Minister started out by paying condolences to the Prime Minister. There was no animosity there. There was no effort to try and score a point there. Let's listen into what the West Bengal Chief Minister said and then answer that. Shehzad Poonawala, listen in.
So I'm very happy that Bengal is getting this, and there are so many other 49 world-class stations. On behalf of West Bengal people, I thank you so much. You have taken trouble to come over here today. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot please take some rest. And I do not know how to give my condolences message to your family members and the others, because mother is no substitute to any other. Your mother means our mother also. I remember my mother also. Sir, may God give you the strength to continue your work with this. This is a very sad day for you, but you are coming virtually. It is your great honor, and you pay respect through your activities to your mother. Thank you so much.
This could have remained bipartisan and apolitical. The Chief Minister extended that hand. Why did the politicization happen? Shehzad Poonawalla.
Padmaja, both the TMC spokesperson and its supporter has contradicted themselves on 3 occasions. Let me point out very quickly. Firstly, they said that the ministers on the dais were trying to tell the people not to chant this particular slogan. So clearly it was not BJP sponsored. Secondly, Mr. Anirban called it quote-unquote lumpenism. Last I know that they have not filed any FIR against this lumpenism, and God forbid that Jai Shri Ram, chanting Jai Shri Ram in a country like India where 100 crores are Hindus is lumpenism, then I don't know what will happen in this country. Every mandir there will be an FIR. And thirdly, if Mamata Banerjee truly felt for the Prime Minister and wanted to extend that message of solidarity, the best thing she could have done is, just like the Prime Minister, despite his personal tragedy, kept it aside and came to this program, she would have kept aside the fact that she hates Jai Shri Ram. She absolutely hates that slogan of the Hindus, and she would have gone on the dais when she was requested by the governor and by the union minister. But her problem was Suvendu Adhikari. Now Suvendu Adhikari defeats her in Nandigram. I understand it's painful, but at occasions you have to keep your ego aside. Okay. Perhaps she would have learned from the Prime Minister today that you can keep your pain aside and you can put a larger cause ahead.
So those words were insincere. Riju Datta.
I have 2 issues to address. First, I want to address the issue of Samajwadi fellow and the other people of other political parties, including some comrades and China lovers who are trying to abuse Pradhan Mantri Modi on this particular occasion. I just want to tell them, not today. Very cheap, not today. And the second thing I want to address is that not going on the dais. Now let me tell you, Shehzad, we proudly say Jai Shri Ram. We have nothing against the slogan. The only thing we take object to is the heckling of a woman chief minister. And why she did not go on dais is a completely separate issue. Because no normal person wants to sit next to a dustbin that emits foul smell. And the loser of the opposition, the dustbin of West Bengal, Suvendu, was there on stage. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. And
the governor is a dustbin.
She chose to sit with
the governor
BJP
is a dustbin.
State President, the BJP National Vice President downstairs. I am talking about Suvendu Adhikari and I am making myself very clear. Okay. I am talking about Suvendu Adhikari. Don't try to juggle.
You're calling the leader of the opposition a dustbin.
Okay, I think we should stick to the message that you yourself gave, Riju Datta, not today. Yes. Let's leave this for today. I want to give the final word to Uday Mahurkar. You've met Heraben on various occasions. The one memory that sticks with you, Udayji, the one memory that defined her as a person, something she said, something she did. Udayji.
I think this was about 17 years ago when I met her, and she spoke to me about certain chapters of Ramayana which were very inspiring, and they were to do with the sense of duty, again the same theme which we are talking today. So that is something which I still remember, and I think that is something which we should recall today, because today again the whole debate is about how she was a point of inspiration for the Prime Minister and his entire family, and which is now visible from their conduct in various ways. Padmaja.
Thank you very much. Uday Mahurkar, we are going to leave it at that. Again, on behalf of our entire team, our condolences, our thoughts and our prayers with the Prime Minister and his entire family. No loss is as bad as the loss of a parent. Thank you, gentlemen.